Working in the current jail facility, what are some of the safety risks you see?
What are the safety risks I see? I would say the gym, the stairs going straight down. When an inmate or a couple inmates have a medical issue, we have to literally pick them up and put them upstairs. But if they get in a fight, we need more than just two or three. We have to separate them in an area where we cannot confine them. And if they're all, we have to call deputies in. And again, we have to physically take them up the stairs, which is a huge safety risk in a narrow stairway.
What are the visibility issues and how would a new facility improve that?
We have poor visibility in the cells with the cameras. You cannot see into any of the cells themselves. All you can see is really the day rooms. In a new facility, there would be more like bunks and just one big room instead of having individual cells.
With a new facility and better layout, how would it improve your current staffing issues?
We would be able to manage a lot more inmates with the same amount of staff that we have right now. With movement and everything, if like the gymnasium was like closer to the cells, or if there was a bigger open area where staff is able to stand in one area to watch multiple inmates move from that on versus like the camera systems, or even in a hallway that is more open and a lot less blind spots at that point.
What would be the biggest benefit for using remote door control systems?
It would be safer for someone watching over the doors versus like maybe someone like kind of like in a control center that faces like the gallery and it's a control of the automated system with the computer system versus having keys, because those inmates can't overtake someone and grab those keys and escape out of the jail.
How would that help with inmate movement?
You would be able to control all that movement with all the inmates by being behind someplace and not exposing that staff down there with those. Say you have a group of inmates who are more aggressive, you could be in a different little area and still control that movement with the inmates without exposing the staff to all the dangerous possibilities and giving them access to keys and everything else to be able to get outside the jail or gain access to points of the jail they're not supposed to be in.
Does the current condition of the law enforcement center hurt the process when finding employees?
It definitely hurts our ability to attract new law enforcement applicants, because when I first bring down a new applicant that's hiring for our office, then we got to walk them down to the basement, which is pretty close quarters. There's a deputy work area that's pretty crammed full of computers. The sergeant's office has a kitchen attached to it, and then where we do our first interviews, we have to bring them into the situation room, which is pretty tight quarters as well, and there's a bunch of wires on top. It's just not a good look for our office.
What's the process once you hire a new deputy?
Once an applicant's fully hired, on their first week, we'll get them fitted with uniforms, and we got to take them up to the sheriff's old living quarters, which is, bedrooms and closet areas, and then that also is kind of embarrassing for our office.
Is the Sallyport an area of concern when it comes to safety and function?
Yeah, absolutely. First off, it's not a single use space, so it's not solely dedicated to bringing in arrestees and booking them in. So it's limited in its ability to be fully secure, and then it only has the ability to have one patrol vehicle in there at a time. So if there's an instance where multiple people have been arrested or by on the same call or from multiple agencies, they're stuck just waiting outside, sitting in the car.
Can you explain more about how it's not a single-use space?
So in the Sallyport, the reason why you can only fit one car in there is because the other half of it's taken up by the x-ray scanner that we use to search people who have been arrested. And then, they also perform vehicle maintenance in there because its original purpose was a garage.
Are there things missing from the current facility that could help you with your job?
So at the sheriff's office itself, we don't have a dedicated training space. There, if it's a smaller training where maybe you're training one or two officers, there's room, that we make that work. And again, it's not a space dedicated to that. It's just where we happen to find room to be able to do that. When we have larger trainings, like we have annual training that we have to do for in-service hours, required by Nebraska state statute, and that requires a department-wide training, and that's not just the deputy side, but the corrections side as well, especially like defensive tactics. We can't do that in our facility, and we have to borrow space from local businesses.
How would a new law enforcement center help facilitate your investigations?
Well, we would be able to design a facility that would allow our work area to be entirely, it'd be more efficient. We'd be able to keep everything all more together in one space, all of our different needs, whether it was crime scene investigation tools. With the digital world, we have so many tools or items, I guess you would say, evidence collection stuff, that all has to be charged, plugged in, and then the data has to be downloaded and retrieved. Batteries have to be charged up, backup batteries. All that stuff takes a lot of space and outlets and the proper technology to do it, and the current facility is just not set up for that.